What's up guys, my name is XANAA and welcome to the Need for Speed Free. Now, in today's video, I did actually manage to get myself a physical copy of this game. It is the first 90s Need for Speed game that I played and own a physical copy of. So let's dive into the action. Need for Speed Free Hot Pursuit came out March 25th, 1998 for PlayStation by EA Canada, and for a little while that was it. You could only get it on PlayStation, but then later that year in October the game saw itself another release for Windows made by EA Seattle. What does this half a year difference make to the game? Content. It's content. So I hereby announce that I'll be playing the PlayStation version before playing the PC version, and let's take a look at the intro first. Epic. So we're here, this is the main menu. We have the game type, which we're skipping. I don't have a second controller. We can switch through race mode to single race, hot pursuit, tournament, knockout, and practice. Real quick to tell you about the other stuff, like in the last game you can switch between driving styles by choosing either arcade or simulation, and when you select simulation you can adjust the car's performance. It's more in depth than last time though, and a huge improvement. You can switch between which part you want to adjust, then once you've highlighted that part, adjust it with the slider. You can also choose between these two skill modes, and in options we have the settings you've come to expect. Right, so in single race and hot pursuit you get to choose between all of these settings. You can pick any track to your avail, adjust the lap counter, decide whether the race is reversed, mirrored, held at night, or whether or not you want there to be rain. We'll choose hometown as our map for now. Then we got our cars, we'll choose the 355 for now, and most of these settings are pretty self-explanatory, but anyway, I will show you the compare setting. It will take you to this menu. I think it's pretty neat. Showcases us being taken to a different menu, and we choose each car, then cycle through information about them. Then you can listen to the history about them, again being spoken by a narrator, and slideshow is yet again you being able to look at these wallpapers of these vehicles. And in settings, like I said earlier, you can manually adjust the performance to your liking. Moving forward once more, we can select how we want to face our opponents. In single race you get to choose between one opponent, a full grid of 8 people, or no opponents at all. You can also choose if you want them to all drive random cars or one selected vehicle. And if you select it to a 1v1, you can again turn on the traffic setting. In hot pursuit it only limits you in a 1v1 or no one at all, but otherwise it's pretty much the same thing. Now, single race is basically what you can expect. You get no reward for doing this, and it's just your bog standard race, but hot pursuit, this game's selling point is a return of there being police again. So you're doing the race and there will be cop cars. Now, anytime you crash or drive below 20, I think I have it set to kilometers in this instance, the police pull you over and you get fined. It's not as much of a drag as last time though. You can only get pulled over a total of 3 times though, and on the 3rd time you get arrested and DNF. Then in tournament you have similar settings available other than the track and lap counter. Like in any tournament, you earn points dependent on the place you finish in, and the tournament cycles through 8 other tracks. You have to make sure you're never lower in the top 3 in the standings though, otherwise you get eliminated and have to restart the whole thing again. You can, however, restart the race from the beginning without losing your entire progress of the tournament though. It's a drag to then restart and redo the entire 4 laps of each track again. Next up we have Knockout. This time you can't adjust any setting, but at least we're only doing 2 laps per race this time. Like last time, finish anywhere above last place and you advance to the next race. And lastly we have Practice Mode. It's again just like a time trial mode. You can tamper with all these settings and adjust them to your liking, that's it. Anyway, let's talk about the tracks. I think they're all a huge improvement over the tracks from the last game. There are still obstacles on the tracks such as these lamp poles and these cacti that I feel like you should be able to drive through, such as in a modern Need for Speed game, but we're still in the 90s and this is far better than getting stopped for no reason. The first event is Hometown. It's this quiet and peaceful place outdoors during fall with these houses. Then we enter a forest that leads into a town. We drive through the town and have to make this sharp turn that 90% of the time I don't take properly. And again, don't hit the lampposts. Seriously, what sick bastard thought this was a good idea? Anyway, we leave the town to complete the lap and we roll. It's a nice track. Next up we have Red Rock Ridge. It's this Grand Canyon type circuit. We start off at this observatory type place and pass this gas station. Then you have an alternative route here, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Then a little down the road we have this shortcut over here. We pass these 2 open valleys, enter a tunnel, and round up the lap. The track itself is okay, I think. I don't like it as much as the first one, but I like it better than some of the others. It's not really nice having a small lead and then hitting a cactus and then falling behind from first to last, even on the beginner difficulty, but okay then. We then have Atlantica. This metropolitan track has you going over a bridge, around this bend, and we can take a shortcut over this sewer passage. Then we need a break here so we can make it through the zigzag. Then we loop around the bend and scurry through this straightaway, make another turn, drive through someone's backyard and back ahead the tree. Let's carry on around this corner, let's pass the straight, go through this tunnel, be cautious through this turn, and complete the lap. But wait, there is actually a shortcut here that we can take, and this one is actually a huge time saver, although we then have to defend strategically against the AI. Then the 4th track is Rocky Pass, and this track sucks, I'm not gonna lie. So the start of this track is fine, you have your basic twists and turns for about a minute or so. Then we have this ramp you can take or not. We go through this tunnel, and you can take this alternative route if you take it correctly or not. This turn sucks, be sure to brake here. Then we enter this town, take another sharp corner, and that's the lap. It takes a few playthroughs to get the hang of this map, but overall, I mean, I guess it's okay. I'd rather play this over Nepal from the last game, but the distance of the track is still far too long. The next track we go to is Lost Canyons. The start of the track uses parts from Red Rock Ridge, but remember this blocked off path earlier? This time we're going there. The same matter goes for the remaining tracks of the game, but let's talk about this one first. So we navigate these corners and drive through this underground section and enter this temple? I don't even know. We're then back outside and the rest of the course looks like this until we get back to the track, and you should recognize this by now. We then finish a lap. We then go to Country Woods. This time we take a left here and the track becomes a winter wonderland. There's not much to say other than that there's a ton of sharp bends we have to mind our speed for. Then a little down the road we can loop around this bend as so, or we can take a cheeky little shortcut through these trees. I mean, this has to be faster, come on, it's there for a reason. Then we have a few more bends and we enter the track again where there previously would be a town. The track is again about 2.5 minutes long, and it's just long. Then we go to Aquatica. We drive from the start-finish straight and take this immediate right turn followed by a tunnel. We're then driving alongside this ridge and we can take this shortcut into the tunnel here. We pass more zigzaggage, drive through this coral pattern tunnel, and holy shit, we're driving through a tunnel underwater. We exit, have a few more tight turns, Then keep going and go through this tunnel, don't hit it cause shit sucks when you do, and we make it to familiar territory. Then lastly we have the summit. You guessed it, the first minute of the track is just rocky pass but with a winter palette until we pass this tunnel. The majority of the track stays as just being like a public road until we pass this skiing resort. We then pass a tunnel and drive by this lodge, I guess. And then we get back to the town we passed before, and it's another 3-minute race. Upon reaching the last event of the tourney or knockout championship, you get to race on Empire City. This is a track you have to unlock in the game, and it's themed around this crazy industrial area. Right off the bat there is a shortcut here, but it's up to you if you want to take it or not. I can describe to you what the track is like further, but it's not really much different from what you're seeing on the screen. Later in the course you drive what seems like a park, I guess, and up until this point the track was just sorta alright, but now it really just kinda went from meh to shit. And that's it, but before we start talking about the cars, there are actually a few courses we can unlock by putting in cheat codes. So let's take a look at them. We've got autocross and just like, what the fuck? It's basically the sand pit and there's ramps over the entire track like the ones you see here. Then there are alternative routes and then it just keeps going for 2.5 minutes and it's like a really underdeveloped course and like the world is tiny. Are we small? Look at these trees, bro. Hello? Hi! The trees are huge! The trees are huge! Next up we got Cavern. What you're looking at on the screen is basically this entire course. Then we got Scorpion 7. We're in an aquarium or whatever. It's actually not that awful of a course. I kinda got a heart attack when I saw the top time say 9 minutes in the corner, but the track is actually quite short. Then we got Space Race. I don't know where the idea really was. For a majority of the track we're inside the space station, I guess. Then we crash, then we teleport into the room, then we crash again and respawn outside of a room again to progress. Then we're, well, rallying in outer space. You can't tell me we're not doing that. Look at these ramps. And then we're back inside, and this part of the track is admittedly really cool looking. And then we finish the lap. What an event. And lastly, the room. I wasn't quite sure what this was gonna be upon reading the name, but it's actually just a kid's room. I mean, that's what I'm forced to believe. Why the fuck would you ever have these alphabet blocks if you weren't a kid? I'm not hating on the track though. We're driving on an RC track from what I can tell, but it just kinda sucks there's not much to it. There's also another track and it's in a incomplete state, so it's not available to play. But it is in the game files. Then next up I want to talk about the in-game vehicles. We've got the Ferrari F355, the car I picked up the game with pretty much. It's just sort of balanced in every imaginable way, though I think stats don't make that much of a difference in this game. We got the Lamborghini Diablo, another car I play a lot due to it just being really fast apparently. Then we got the Ferrari 550 Maranello, the Corvette C5, the Lamborghini Countach, the Jaguar XJR15, the Mercedes CLK GTR, the Nazca C2, and then this game's fictional fantasy car, the El Nino. Yeah, it's this game's bonkers car, I guess. And again we have some cheat codes that allow us to play as custom pedestrian vehicles. And those are the vehicles for the PlayStation version. But do you know why I initially wasn't gonna review the PC version? Well, content, that's why. So to start off, the PC base game includes an Aston Martin DB7. Where is that in the PlayStation base game? There's a Jaguar XK8, a Mercedes SL600, a Ital-designed Skegera, and you can play as police cars in pursuit mode. And unlock more by unlocking them. And that's not even including the free DLC they made in 1999. From its website, the link to download the DLC will be in the description, and you can play as a Ferrari 456M GT, a Jaguar XKR, a Spectre R42, and a Lister Storm. And these aren't even the regional releases included. The Australian release of the game includes a Ford Falcon GT and a HSV VT GTS. You know, just like that because they're Australian. And there's also the 1998 Indy 500 pace car Corvette, which you can unlock from a Walmart release. What? Luckily for me, there's a mod called the Modern Patch, which includes all these regional cars into the game, and that's what I think was sort of overlooked. The way you're meant to install this is just by dragging it into the game file. That's it. And there probably is a limit, but from what I saw in a video, you can at least install like 20 plus vehicles and have a total of like 50 different cars you can drive as. Now, this is why the modding scene of this game probably dates back as early as 2000. Yeah, the modding scene for this game is actually as insane as Need for Speed Most Wanted's modding scene. The amount of vehicles submitted are almost on par, if not must have only recently been overtaken by Most Wanted 05's modding scene due to its highly active community. Custom textures for maps have been made by this guy for the past 4 years, and custom tracks might be starting to become a thing since there are the tools for it. But damn, do I really just love modding communities, like, in general. Could you guys have ever guessed this McLaren F1 was modded? Like, you know how there is a showcase section of the game and the guy talks to you about, like, information about any vehicle?
It elevates Grand Touring to a level never before achieved. It bears an impeccable pedigree and introduces exciting state-of-the-art technology.
Pursuing its goal of creating the ultimate road-going sports car, McLaren Cars spared no expense and drew upon its vast Formula One racing knowledge to create the spectacular McLaren F1.
Well, the mod maker of this McLaren included it, but it's the announcer from the previous game giving you the info about the car and specs and whatnot. It's really clever, and then of course there is the Unreal Engine 5 project that someone is working on. It looks absolutely insane, and really hope it becomes a reality one day. So I think it's obvious why people would play the PC version over the console version. I mean, you have so many more possibilities on PC in terms of modding, etc. But there's still a vital key of information I haven't really talked about throughout this video, and that is the controls of the game. What is there to say about the PlayStation version? I like the feel of the car much better than on PC. They're absolutely not the same, and while it feels like here the car has some weight to it, and it feels like it's on the ground, it doesn't feel that way on PC. I started getting the hang of the controls, playing to the point where I feel comfortable making like a power slide like this. In the last game I questioned if I should or shouldn't, because usually you have to fight the car back, but here every car kinda handles naturally. Truth be told, I just don't feel as confident on my feet playing the PC version. It all feels like pretty loose and sluggish, but you're still like, the handling is like cuckoo crazy, but you still stick to the track somehow. I don't know how that makes any sense. But I'm not gonna shit all over the PC version either. The menu and UI I think is greatly improved upon compared to the console version. Everything feels better organized. The game looks great for its time, and with the possibility to mod your game and add your own custom cars and even change your car color, you know, that wasn't a thing in the last game. That's really awesome. There is once more like a cockpit point of view, you know, it's very nice. They might want to re-implement that into newer Need for Speed games again. I don't know why they haven't. And then there's also the pursuit being revamped, which is really neat. And that's gonna be it. Now, I don't want to drag this video on further. I like the game a ton. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it's easily the better one of the 3 original Need for Speed games. I still have to play High Stakes and Porsche Unleashed. Well, I will do so, but from comparing these 3 games to one another, I like this one the best so far. Like the controls on PlayStation. love the possibilities with what you can do on PC. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. Thank you guys all for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Peace the fuck.